bit of the Spanish announce table pre-show. I'm joined with Lucas Chappell.
Hey.
Josh Stockton.
How's it going?
And Wayne Madden is here.
Yay!
In the corner there, just watching over us in case we say any naughty words.
Absolutely.
Poo puns. Oh, sorry.
You were saying far worse than that before we began?
Yes, yes, and we'll not say any more about that. Sorry, that was a mistake as well. Yeah. Anyway, we're going to talk about AEW and the upcoming event, Double or Nothing. We're going to talk about the recent news that they've kind of got a deal with ITV.
That's right, yeah. There's a new sort of ongoing working relationship. At the moment, it's just the fact that Double or Nothing, the first event officially under the Double or Nothing banner, is under ITV box office. Yeah. Obviously, that's big news for UK fans. ITV is our biggest commercial television channel that there's ever been in the United Kingdom. So to have Double or Nothing on that is a massive, massive deal. It doesn't necessarily mean that if they do go ahead with this Tuesday Night Dynamite idea, this weekend show that people are alluding to, it doesn't necessarily mean that's going to be on ITV, but it's a good indication that
I would like it to be. I would like it to be, like I said before, I think if they do that, it'll be on later and it'll be on ITV4.
ITV4, so the men's channel.
The quote-unquote men's channel.
The men's channel.
They put all like the detective shows and like all the sports shows and that on that channel.
So you could have like the same feel that you've got with Being the Elite on that same sort of goofy humour, but it's like swearing, so it's like after 9pm Watershed, but it's wrestling.
The same audience is like, I don't know if you're familiar with like the kind of target audience with Dave.
Dave channel. Yeah, I'm familiar with that. Yeah,
that's what I think at least, but that's just speculation. That's nothing's true about that.
I think it's useful. I shouldn't be saying this, but I would be the kind of person who would just steal AEW the next day.
Oh, don't worry about Don't worry about me because I know what you mean.
Yeah, and you would just go to like a torrent or other available, and you would just take it, and then obviously now that it's on ITV, you're like, well, I don't need to steal it, and so it's good for ITV.
Yeah,
it's good for the consumer.
That being said, if it's ITV box office, you probably still need to pay.
It's normally
to watch it, but it's a lot more accessible.
Yes,
it's normally about £17, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think All In was worth £17.
I didn't know that ITV had a box office channel. I thought it was only Sky that had a box office channel, and that was going to be abolished because people subscribe to their channels.
No, that's mostly for the boxing, and it's a lot of licensed premises. They're actually forced to use Sky Box Office, and they can't use anything else.
I see.
So like pre-shows for like WrestleMania or indeed this pre-show, you wouldn't be able to air this pre-show on Sky Box Office. You'd only be able to earn the main show.
I see.
And that's as part of your license condition or something.
Yeah.
Here's my thing with the whole ITV thing. I think it's smart because it's a brilliant way to potentially bring in casual viewers. And that is what, is going to make AEW successful in the long run.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The casuals, isn't it? It's because the casuals love WWE and that makes them more money.
Yes.
Whereas the hardcores tend to go away from WWE.
Yeah, absolutely. If you look at WWE, I'd say 70, if not 80% of whoever tunes in, if anybody tunes in, is casual.
Yeah.
Which is why a 3-hour show is so off-putting to somebody channel surfing.
The thing is, that's the thing with Raw in the UK. If you want to watch it by legal means, you have to wait until the repeat during the day on Sky Sports or Sky One.
Yeah.
Or you have to stay up till 3 AM to watch it. Or else you have to torrent it, and unfortunately, a lot of people are forced to torrent it.
Am I right in thinking, and you'd know better than me, but for old school, and I know it doesn't exist anymore, but for old school terrestrial television, away from your Sky Sports subscriptions,
the first 4 channels.
WWE isn't available on traditional television at all.
No,
so
not
at the moment, and I know that's been hinted ever since Channel 4 took away Sunday Night Heat, but presumably then AEW, if it did broker this deal, would be, as you've said, Josh, a massive consumer base to kind of clamp onto.
Do you know what it is? I hadn't thought about it like that, but that is a great point. I mean, if that happens before WWE come to free TV, that is a huge advantage.
Yeah,
big chess move, isn't it? Checkmate.
I mean, granted, if that happens, like a couple of weeks later, you'll see WWE make the announcement, WWE is moving to free TV in the UK.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We're bringing Channel 4 up. I'm really, really sorry for everything that Deborah did in 2000.
No, that is what will happen. Because, despite what you know, they may tell you they are scared that AEW is on the scene.
Wasn't there a rumour, or like people speculating, because NXT UK and NXT have done a lot with children's BBC, that they were going to put on NXT UK on after the kids programs.
Oh really?
There's a lot of speculation because there's a lot of like collaboration with things like Blue Peter and Newsround, and a lot of people speculating that BBC are interested in just NXT UK.
The backstage interviewer, what's his name?
The
guy with the afro,
guy with the curly hair.
Yeah, he is from Blue Peter. Yeah, so there's a big crossover there. Which fair enough. I mean, I see NXT as being. I always thought World of Sport was a lot more child orientated. They would have gone down quite nicely on Blue Peter, whereas I felt NXT UK is slightly grittier. You know, you see more strikes to the face.
Yeah, it's a bit more hard hitting.
Yeah, I would say maybe that's based maybe more age 12 to 20, whereas I think World of Sport was more younger.
But WWE had a Saturday Morning Slam, didn't they, a couple of years ago?
Yes.
And that was like a kids'
no vertebrae compressing manoeuvres. Yeah. Actually, one of the best matches I've seen ever. Daniel Bryan versus Tyson Kidd on Saturday Morning Slam, and it's a children's match, so they can't do any strikes or any like vertebrae compressing manoeuvres or anything like that, and they had to be so creative. But because it's those two technical wizards, it was fantastic. It was so creative, and it was such a lot of fun to watch.
Nobody remembers this, but they did do an NXT Kids, one episode of NXT
Wasn't it
Kids.
just children hosting it or something?
Yeah.
Yes, I do remember
it was.
It's like a one-off, and then they binned it.
And that's like one example of like a reverse Mandela effect because nobody remembers it. But it's funny because I don't think AEW are aiming that audience. They're not aiming for the kids' audience.
Kevin Nash went on record and said that they need to have that demographic to sell action figures, video games, everything like that. Because it's a huge part of your income and your revenue is merchandise.
I think that's where ECW kind of like lost a lot of money.
But I don't think people would necessarily be bothered if it was PG. I think the reason that people don't watch WWE isn't because it's PG. I think it's more down to the booking.
That's true. That's true. To be honest,
if they can get their booking spot on AEW, I don't think people would care that it's PG.
Me neither.
I mean, I wouldn't.
No, totally. And if you look at some of the brilliant angles going back over the years, a lot of it was actually done in PG environment. So it doesn't necessarily mean PG is a death knell, because some fantastic stuff that's happened in wrestling was in PG.
This is the thing, You know, the PG era. I mean, a lot of John Cena's career was a PG era, wasn't it?
I mean, look at his feud with CM Punk, for instance.
That was great. Actually, all of CM Punk's like
Punk and Jericho, that was PG.
That was in the PG, and Brock's comeback was PG.
I'm sure we'll talk about CM Punk later on. The whole AEW thing.
There's a massive,
that's the thing.
What to touch on just quickly. You mentioned earlier World of Sport, Wayne.
Yes. Go on. I'm just reading this story about ITV announces AEW Dublin, I think, on ITV's website, so it must be
a big deal. It's just been announced on ITV's official website about Double or Nothing. That's a massive deal.
It's real now, isn't it?
Yeah, it's real now. It's happening.
It's just having a quick read of it. Well, and they're doing a good write-up. Well, actually, whoever wrote this is quite knowledgeable of.
Probably Greg Lambert, I suppose. Our old friend Greg has probably written
maybe
because he did a lot of press work for World of Sport. Yeah.
It begins at 1 a.m. GMT. And will air for free on ITV4. What did I say?
There you go, Neil. Nostradamus over here.
Yeah. On the pre-show will be on ITV4. So
that's good though. That's and I hear Glacier or Scorpio.
Yeah, Glacier's back.
Is on the pre-show.
Billy Gunn as well.
He's in the Battle Royal.
No, Scorpio. Do you mean Scorpio Sky?
No, the Mortal Kombat wrestling WWE. Don't like Glacier.
Yeah.
I think Billy Gunn's in the Battle Royal too.
That's totally, even whether you buy the box office, that's totally worth waiting up until midnight.
Glacier was sick,
The Casino in brackets Battle Royale.
Casino Royale, very clever.
Its 21 competitors include MGF, Michael Nakazawa, Jungle Boy, Glacier.
Nice.
Sonny Kiss. Is he the drag?
The draggy looking one, yeah. He's very campy, has the short hair, very flamboyant, awesome wrestler.
Joey Janela, who I forgot was signed to AEW.
Yeah.
Including more, and it's like certain rules, isn't it? There's 5 in it.
Yeah, funny you say that actually, Neil. I was watching Being the Elite when they were announcing the rules, and they said, now we're going to give you the rules. And I said to my girlfriend, just saying, oh, what? So it's like the same as every Battle Royal ever for the past 40 years. Ugh. And then they started announcing the rules, and I was like, actually, this is really fresh.
Yeah,
it's completely different,
idea.
actually.
Yeah,
it's more like a Royal Rumble. Do you want to run through the rules, Neil? Actually, they're really exciting.
It says, lucky number 21, all fighting in and... it doesn't actually have the rules. But basically, just from memory, it's 5 enter, then another 5 after 3 minutes, and another 5 until there's 1 left, and it's the lucky 21.
And then the lucky 21 comes
isn't he
down
like
at
the
the
mystery,
end.
he or she the mystery...
Mystery entrant, the lucky 21, yeah. He's drawn 21.
Speculation who it might be.
Well, that's the thing with All In, because I thought that Battle Royal was the best Battle Royal.
So much fun, wasn't it?
It was
And have like Jordan Grace, like throwing men over the top and everything.
Oh, that was
so
good.
cool.
Billy
Awesome.
Gunn's son and everything.
Yeah, was it? Yeah.
So, and then the winner of that will be the number 1 contender for the world champions, the first ever
Once they become the
championship.
champion.
Oh, wow.
And then Kip Sabian will face Sammy Guevara.
Guevara. He's from AAA.
Director of Sport. This is the quote from the director of Sport on ITV. We're delighted to announce this partnership with AEW, whose entry into professional wrestling is already making a massive impact in the industry and promises to deliver an electrifying event later this month. And there's fantastic experience for all our viewers and wrestling fans in the UK. Joining forces with AEW for this event is faithful to ITV's more than TV strategy to develop direct relationship with viewers through big events available on its platforms.
Okay.
So there's
Fighter Fest and Fight for the Fallen they will also be on ITV in that case. Then.
I think it's also that's being orchestrated through Tony Khan, who owns AEW. Well, he's the CEO because he's the one who owns. Is it Fulham?
He owns Fulham and he owns Jacksonville Jaguars as well.
He's a big deal. He's richer than Vince McMahon, isn't he?
That's insane. I mean, in terms of, I would really like to think, and I know that Lucas, you were coming to this earlier, but I would really like to think that this means that World of Sport will still have a place on ITV.
I'd like to hope.
I would still like to think that will continue.
We were just saying off air about the heritage of World of Sport and the history and what a great place it has in the hearts of a lot of British wrestling fans. It'd be a shame to see that go now because all Elite Wrestling is now come in. You know, the thing is with All Elite is little companies do have to worry a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, they are there. They're not this big friendly company that are coming in to monopolise and to take over. So yeah, companies like Ring of Honor and Impact do need to, and MLW, people like that, do need to be a little bit concerned about this happening right now.
Oh, yeah.
I think World of Sport needs to be very concerned.
I think World of Sport, I would say that while they do need to continue, they do need to overhaul how they make it and how they produce it.
Production-wise,
I think
absolutely.
it's very badly produced.
That is my big thing because I watched it because I used to watch throwback episodes of World of Sport on the wrestling channel. It was a thing.
Yes.
When it was announced for the reboot, I was buzzing because I thought, it's coming back. And then I watched it, and it just wasn't.
The production just didn't suit wrestling, did it? It
that,
didn't have the right feel to it.
It's not the reason. I don't want to see big men just wrestle and do one move. I want it to be rebooted in terms of how it's presented.
Yes.
You can still do a new style of wrestling, but you can still present it the same way the World of Sport used to be produced,
absolutely.
Which is in the name, which should be a sport.
We'll go on to that in a bit, Josh, when we talk about the Crockett Cup as well, because that's exactly what you just described there, but executed perfectly. And back to World of Sport, I just want to say maybe we could perhaps get a working relationship with All Elite and
I think that'd be a nice idea.
Justin Sizem in All Elite, maybe.
It would definitely be interesting. I mean, one of the people who I'm hoping to have as a future guest on the Spanish announce table would be HT Drake, who has wrestled with North and World of Sport and what. And he has told me sort of unofficially away from the recorders, so we don't have a clip of it. But he has, I promise, said to me that, when he wrestled his matches for World of Sport, they were about 15-20 minutes longer than than what you see on television.
Heavily edited.
And that kind of took me aback a little, because I thought, from an editorial decision, who is the person making that decision and on what basis is he doing so?
It'll be somebody that doesn't like wrestling.
Well, this is the question. Is it someone who's actually a big wrestling fan, or is it someone who's actually just an editor?
I think that Turnbuckle Wrestling Company, if you look in the credits...
What it is?
It says Turnbuckle Wrestling. I don't know what that is, but I do know they're involved with World of Sport, so...
So I was under the impression, I don't know why, but it was something to do with New Generation Wrestling, you know, the one that set up loads of academies around the country, because it's very similar to their style.
What is a thought is, with all the money and all the billions of Tony Khan, is it feasible that they could buy the World of Sport name and have maybe a weekly show called
what I was thinking,
why not?
Why not?
What I was thinking, actually, to get it started off, you could have the World of Sport stars on the pre-show of their big events. So, say for instance, you've got an All In 2 presumably coming up in September.
Yeah.
Why not have the World of Sport stars fly out to Chicago and have, you know, a few matches on the pre-show first to get the American
It's going to be on ITV, so all of the casual UK fans will recognise...
Well, not only that, but it's another way of getting the American fans introduced to more sort of names from the UK. So that is an idea that they could run with, you know, as sort of a trial.
That makes me think,
if they do buy the rights to World of Sport, which is always an option.
As long as I get to see that World of Sport name continue, I think it's a shame to let that go. Just before I forget as well, something we were mentioning earlier about things being PG and PG-14, etc. You know, a lot of WWE's revenue came from toys and video games and things like that during the Attitude Era, action figures. So just because something isn't necessarily meant to be tailored for children, it doesn't mean you can't sell action figures.
That's very true.
Like, look at Terminator and RoboCop. I had all the toys when I was 4. Alien, I had all those toys.
Toxic Avenger.
Yeah, Toxic Avenger, exactly. So just because if it's not PG and it is a little bit more risque, maybe a bit of swearing, etc. It doesn't matter. They can still do action figures and things like that. I just wanted to get that out there. Because
well, there was an interview with Tony Khan, and is it Chris Van
Vliet? Very good interview that I watched that.
I probably should have watched that for research, but I didn't because I haven't had a chance. But I've read that Tony Khan said that the product is going to be PG, and of course that. Set people off the wrong way, and obviously, you know.
I think it will set people off the wrong way, but those are the kind of people who have the voice to spend the time on the computers. Whereas at the end of it, as any wrestling business person will tell you from a capitalist point of view, it is the kids who are begging their parents, please buy me the figures. Yeah, exactly. It is the parents who are begging, it's the parents who are getting begged by the children, buy me the video games, take me to the show. You go down to WWE this weekend in Newcastle, and you will see nothing but kids. And it's not because older people don't have an interest, because I've seen a lot of older fans of the NXT shows. It is actually because the kids really want the parents to spend ridiculous money to get them ringside holding a championship.
Yeah.
And it's the parents that spend the money for the kids. Yeah.
I feel that AEW are trying to be more like WCW than they are trying to be WWF.
Yeah, I think Cody's bought the name to Bash at the Beach and Stampede as well. Bunkhouse Stampede's coming back apparently.
I think from a presentation standpoint, he is trying to be like WCW. However, something tells me from a booking standpoint, he's not going to be like WCW.
Trying to be more like New Japan.
Because I was watching a video the other day, a couple of guys on YouTube, and they were saying that the booking in AEW will be good because you've got guys that are running the company that have been, in places like TNA, and they've witnessed horrible booking decisions. They've been on the end of those booking decisions. So because of that, they're going to know
they won't make those mistakes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that is another advantage that the company has got because they've got people running the company that are wrestlers. So
yes.
It's going to be a big advantage, isn't it, with wrestlers running the company?
Should I go through the card and we'll just...
Yes, please. I'm literally just about to say that.
I'll go through it on what order it is on Wikipedia. So it says number 1. I don't know what order this is in, if this is the time order or what's going to happen. But the first match on this card is Hangman Page versus Pac.
Oh yes, please!
So excited.
That might be the
Pac
best
is
match
the
of the
man.
night.
Yes, they are grooming Hangman Page to be the next Randy Orton. I think, as in the next young
the big
main
star.
event, next big
He's
thing.
awesome, actually. Hangman
That-
Page.
Oh, he's
He is,
incredible.
yeah.
That match with Joey Janela at All In was absolutely
Amazing.
intense.
That is the match I'm most looking forward to, as
Yeah.
a matter of fact.
Any Pac is always going to be the best match. Any Pac match
Pac as well,
is the best match on the card, always, isn't it?
Yeah, he's one of the best wrestlers in the world, actually. Pac, I would say.
And he's one of the nicest people you'll ever meet as well. He's the opposite of his character.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a sweetheart. He's lovely.
Oh yeah, I've never met him, but everyone who's met him says he's great.
Well, here's the key. You just talk to him about football and you've got him.
Oh, there you go.
Because he's a huge
Oh well, I've got
football
nothing to talk
fan.
about then.
So, yeah. But yeah, he's great, and I really hope he does well, and I think he will. Because if you think about it, he's got he'll feel he's got a point to prove, hasn't he?
Yeah.
I actually rate him in the top 3 or 4 best wrestlers in the world.
Yeah, I would agree.
And I really would like to see Pac as their first world champion.
Yeah, I think I read somewhere, I don't know how true it is, but I think because he doesn't want to live in America, that's a cue for a song. No, not really. Because he doesn't want to live in America, he wants like a kind of a John Cena style contract where he can do
like
certain
a Brock Lesnar thing where you come in every couple of
Brock
months.
Lesnar, that's kind of more like what I'm looking for, yeah.
That'll save visa issues as well.
Yeah,
so
of course.
That'll make him feel more special as well.
Exactly,
Which
protected
is-
star.
Which is my worry when it comes to Kenny Omega and the Bucks, because if you think about it, if they're on TV every week,
Doing a million
Saturated,
spins.
yeah.
How many times are you going to see a Meltzer driver before the effect wears off?
that is my big worry, because if you look in New Japan, they do tours and then they go off for a week and you don't see them.
Feels
Where
special, doesn't it?
Exactly. If you see Kenny every week, are you going to get sick of him?
It's going to be another Seth Rollins, isn't it?
Are the fans going to turn on him? Because you know how fans are.
Yeah, fickle.
I was going to say the opposite. We see Seth Rollins, AJ Styles, Daniel Bryan, all these every week on WWE, but I don't think I'm sick of them.
Oh no, I mean from a
but they're
character
diamonds in the
standpoint.
rough.
To be honest,
right, I
yeah.
see. So like you might turn into like, well, not as far as Roman Reigns, but like somebody like maybe I can't think of a good example. The Miz, I don't know.
But I don't think, like you were saying about the booking, I don't think they're stupid enough to force something like that down your throat. They can see when something's becoming contrived and they'll pull it back a bit.
I would hope so. Vince obviously doesn't have that.
He
can't do that.
He doesn't get it, does he?
No,
He just doesn't get it.
But I would hope. I mean, with Pac, I think a great example of him is that because he's born and raised in Newcastle, he has his feet very firmly on the floor. He very much likes the idea of coming back to Newcastle and entertaining the home crowds as well, and getting involved in local promotion, which can, I suppose, do only good things for AEW, because to be fair, who's to say he couldn't bring a few people back with him on the plane?
Exactly,
Who's
why
to say
not?
he couldn't have a couple of those conversations with those
How
bookers?
about they do All Elite Wrestling pay-per-view at St James Stadium?
Why
We'll
not?
see, why not?
Why not?
I'm talking
Imagine
6-7
that.
years time. I mean, like,
Well, no,
obviously,
but
just
I mean,
like,
but in
dream that as a
fairness,
pipe
wasn't it? Wasn't Five Star
I'm all in on
crowned
that,
their
no pun
champion?
intended.
yeah,
Yeah.
very true. 5-Star Wrestling did.
They
yeah.
crowned their champion. The only 2 times that the championship changed hands in
John
5-Star
Morrison, was it? I
Wrestling
can't remember.
was John Morrison
Yeah,
in
it was.
Newcastle. But the only
Yeah.
the only 2 times that title changed hands was in Newcastle in
And
that federation's
What
short history.
that federation, apart from all the botches, what that federation is also famous for is AJ Styles announced he was going to WWE at one of their shows. And
Nice.
that's all it's remembered for in
Yes, it is,
Newcastle. In Newcastle.
Fair play.
But yeah, I mean, imagine that. Imagine seeing all Elite at St James Park or
Well, Newcastle
The
have
Metro
never
Radio
had it
Arena.
fair in terms of pay-per-views, have they? The last pay-per-view they had was Insurrection.
in 2003.
In
That was a long time ago.
Yeah,
Which was an
Yeah.
absolutely
It's
appalling.
absolute-
Edge versus Brock
You
Lesnar.
can't say anything bad
Yes,
about that.
it
That
is,
was
yeah.
my first ever show and I loved it.
Oh,
Well,
wow.
if it was your first ever show and you
I think
loved it, that's
Edge
great.
versus
I
Brock
bet in
Lesnar was
person
good.
it was great, but like sitting at home it was
Oh,
not,
I can
great.
still go back now and watch it on DVD and love it. I
Because
love
you know you were there in the
Thing is-
crowd.
Well, yeah,
This is
but-
true, man. You know.
The stadium looks like the arena looks like absolute shit. On
Is it Newcastle Arena?
yeah, it looks
Doesn't
absolute shit
Tony
on
Khan
screen.
own what's the name of the arena in London? I can't remember. I don't follow
Oh,
football.
what
you
do
see.
you mean Wembley?
Fulham's.
They tried to buy Wembley. And
Not Wembley. Fulham Stadium.
Football Club.
Oh, well, you can easily
Yeah.
do that at a Fulham.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
they,
that's
own, they own the club. But,
Yeah.
Could easily do that then. because
that's a big stadium, isn't it, as well?
If
the one with Michael Jackson's statue on the front. That's
I forgot about that. I totally forgot about that.
I mean, WAW is still planning on putting on a monster of a show.
I was trying to think who that was. Norwich's football ground. That looks good as well.
Is it in Norwich's football ground? That
I believe so. Yeah, that's
got some big stars on it, hasn't it?
It's got some. Unfortunately, well, that's a different story for another time. But just to give you a little update on that, Jazz has had to pull out for injury.
That's why she dropped the NWA Championship last month.
What's her name? Not Mercedes Martinez. Is that the name? The one who was on Mae Young Classic.
Yeah, Mercedes Martinez. I think that's the name.
Yeah, she's replacing her against Saraya for the women's title.
Nice.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Anyway, back to AEW. SoCal Uncensored SCU versus a team called the Strong Hearts, who are Shima T-Hawk and El Lindemann. I don't know who they are.
El Lindemann, isn't he the lead singer of Rammstein?
Yeah, I was just going to say Till Lindemann, yeah.
Shima trained like Kenny Omega, Okada, all of this, like some of the best wrestlers in the world, probably the top best 6 wrestlers in the world. Shima trained them. He is next level, world class perfection in the ring.
Yeah.
So to get an opportunity to see him wrestle like Christopher Daniels and Kazarian is mouth-watering to me.
That would be a good opener, actually.
Yeah. It's going to be a lot of fun.
That would be a good one to open with, actually.
And just to think, in the future, you're going to get Shima versus Pac, maybe. Shima versus Kenny Omega. It's going to be 6-star wrestling matches here.
Juicy stuff.
So, very, very promising. Good. I think this is going to be your...
I think the Strong Hearts team might win just to get them over, because SCU are already over. Come on, let's think. Christopher Daniels doesn't need it. Frank Kazarian is
the sort of people that are going to be buying this pay-per-view already know SCU. They probably don't know a lot about Oriental Wrestling Entertainment. I know I certainly don't know a lot about it, other than what I found on YouTube.
It's on a certain streaming service that I don't like to talk about anymore, but yeah.
Okay.
But the next match after that is the one that I thought might be in the main event. Kenny Omega versus Chris Jericho.
I think that is going to be the main event, because actually in the press release they did with ITV, I think it says somewhere in the small print about headline match.
Oh, right.
I mean, that was one of the best matches last year, was it? Wrestle Kingdom last year. Oh, so good.
It was intense.
I'm probably going to be the only one in this room, but that is not a match that I want to see again. And it's not because the first match was bad. I wanted it to be a one and done, because it felt special. But I know why they're doing it. It's another way of bringing casuals in. Of course, as well. So it's a smart move.
It's like Cena and The Rock Part 4 or whatever.
Which is why, I'm probably jumping the gun a bit here, but it's why I think that they should put the title on Jericho when,
It's not a bad idea.
It's a very bad idea.
Is it for publicity?
Do you think? I wouldn't want Jericho given the title.
I think
it's all right for him if he wants at his age to be involved in this company, and he wants to be a main eventer at a time when he's not getting maybe what he wants out of WWE in terms of his contract. I would be very disappointed if he was given the championship. I think there are younger guys, and to be quite frank, there are better talent. I think Jericho's had his day, and I think
he has
in many respects.
I know what you mean, but I was purely thinking from a business standpoint. As a face champion, as a face champion, he doesn't have to hold on to it for months.
Yeah, well, exactly that, Josh.
As a face champion, people keep on going back to casuals again, but casuals are going to say, oh look, Jericho's a champion of a new company. Yeah. Maybe I might watch that. Do you know what I mean?
It's going to bring a lot of attention onto it. It'll be on the front page of the Daily Sun or whatever it is.
It's a bit like how when TNA first started the $1 pay-per-views, wasn't their first champion Ken Shamrock?
Yeah, and I wanted to actually get onto every world champion starts off with, you go back to WWE, WCW, TNA, ECW, their first world champions are always a veteran established star who then promptly drops it to an up-and-coming star. Yeah. So Shamrock dropped it to AJ Styles, was it? Or Ron Klings?
Ron Klings, I think.
Yeah, that's right. You had Ric Flair dropped it to, was it Vader or... Flair dropped it pretty quick, didn't he?
WCW.
In 1990. WWE, Buddy Rogers dropped it to Bruno Sammartino pretty quick after less than a month. Yeah. I think Jimmy Snuka dropped the belt pretty quick in ECW.
The first New Japan champion, there's a debate about this, but it could have been Hulk Hogan.
I say it's Hulk Hogan.
Inoki.
Yeah, I mean, really, Inoki was the first NW. Was
But
the first.
again, he was an
IWGP.
established veteran in Japan.
Yes.
Yeah,
very
but
much
if
so.
you watch some of his matches in Japan, though, it's a totally different Hulk Hogan. Like he could have.
Oh,
he's
yeah.
a fantastic.
He's done like wrist locks.
Yeah, like,
and, yeah.
I watched him against Great Muta the other day.
Oh yeah, brilliant.
And I was
He's
like,
a better
man,
wrestler in
like,
Japan.
he's
He's a much better wrestler in Japan. But why would they didn't need him in WWE to do all of those moves?
No, they just need him to just wave his arms about.
that wasn't.
He's a smart guy, isn't he? He knows what will
What
bring fans in.
companies want to watch.
Made a lot of money doing very minimalistic style.
Yeah.
If you can, go for it.
Go for it,
Absolutely.
exactly. If you can get paid for basically doing nothing.
So
then
we've
do
got this sort of question here going on with AEW. Is it going to be a young, up-and-coming, fresh champion?
Well, this is
Or
it.
are they going to stick to the old formula of putting it
Yeah.
on a veteran who then maybe in September drops it to...
That's the thing. I mean,
Yeah.
who's gonna win the battle royale? That's the thing. Because
John Moxley, who knows?
maybe
I
maybe.
don't think he'll wrestle there. I think he'll do a run in.
He might
Moxley.
be the.
Yeah, I don't think he'll wrestle.
He might be the lucky 21 and he gets eliminated by whoever wins, and that creates a feud for later on down the line.
Yeah, but isn't the battle royal on the pre-show?
Yes.
Yes, it
You don't
is.
want to debut
Yeah,
on the
that's,
pre-show.
Oh, right,
that's,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
what's
yeah.
making me think
Yeah.
Moxley's not going to be in the Battle Warriors, the fact that it's in the
It
pre-show.
says Brian Pillman Jr.'s in the
He is indeed, yeah.
in this version. Anyway, that's not the next. The next match on here is Britt Baker versus Nyla Rose versus Kylie Ray, not Kaylee Ray, Kylie Ray.
Keep getting those two mixed up.
Yeah. So this is a three-way match. I don't know. It doesn't say it's for a title, but
No, it's not.
I'm assuming they're going to have a women's title.
I think trying to be very PC and very inclusive, I think they're going to give the victory to Nyla Rose because of her background.
Yeah, so they're going
Not-
to kind of. Well, I know it's a bit of a strange thing to talk about, but I think they might want it so they can get good publicity.
Yeah, it's very good publicity.
Yeah.
It's very inclusive. It's very good PR. And I'm not saying that she's only getting the victory because of her background.
What is her
She's
background?
transgender.
Right.
So
okay.
it just looks a very
First
good, nice, happy
transgender
feel.
wrestler.
Now, I know, Wayne, you don't agree with giving people victories just because of who they are.
Be careful how you word this. But go on.
Just because of who they are.
Yes.
And it should be down to their warrant as a good wrestler.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
True.
But also, there is a case of PR as well.
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely,
you know.
absolutely. And I mean, I think yeah, I think you're right. As I say what I say about Jericho partly because I met Jericho a few years ago and I didn't really get on with him personally on a personal level, and it made an impression on me. I've been a big fan of him for a number of years. And it rubbed me the wrong way.
Was he a
But-
heel at the time? Because he does do that, doesn't he?
He might have been actually. I'd have to look into
I
that.
know
To be
he
honest with
he
you,
does
The
that.
meet and greet, was it?
No.
a business
It was
thing, or-
part of. He was interviewing Fozzy or something backstage,
Right, okay.
where he was interviewing as part of Fozzy
Yeah,
at Networth.
I'm the same. I didn't have that experience with him, but he was a bit of a tough nut to crack.
Yes.
His first question was his first answer was quite challenging, but I know why he did it. Because I think he had his guard up as like a wrestler, and once I started talking, I slipped in a little wrestling question in there. He kind of got more into it because I said, "Oh, I've heard about your cruises, rock and wrestling." He went, "Oh yeah," he loved talking about that. So I think he was just more of a tough nut to crack.
Well, he
than-
would because it's his baby, isn't it?
Yeah.
So he started smiling then, because before he was like straight face, he was like giving like quite small answers.
It's a
And when it
decent
got
little
that,
show
it was
that
like,
as well, wasn't it?
it was like, oh yeah, and then
I
I was
watched
like,
the main event. I
Yeah.
didn't watch the whole...
Spotfest, wasn't it? It was
Yeah.
a very fun Spotfest.
To see him dressed as one of the books was
A lot of fun.
Oh,
To
wow.
be honest, if they were going to
The
give a
books of
title to
Jericho.
anybody at all, I'd just love Sting to show up mysteriously.
Oh, wow.
in AEW.
You
I'd just
imagine?
go, I'll have that, and then suddenly...
You would have to be surfacing because haven't the
Yes.
copyrighted the
Yeah,
they
the
have.
listing.
They
Oh, they
have.
haven't, have they? They
I
copyrighted
think
it.
so. They have a lot of control over it, yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Well, he has a deal with them because obviously they sell his T-shirts and his merch at the moment.
Oh, his
and
likeness
he's very
and
much his
licensing.
likenesses.
Yeah.
It's like with Goldust that we'll come to later. Well, he's no longer Goldust. They can't even
Justin
call him
Reynolds.
that.
No,
It's
he's half and half dust now, isn't he? So,
Yeah.
well, yes, in a sense.
I like
yeah.
that half dust. I like that.
That
yeah.
being said, he can wear the Goldust outfit because he wore it in New Japan, which was
Goldustin.
televised. He was called Goldustin then, and he's also been called Goldustin and Goldie, and he's spelled Goldust different before.
Yeah.
So he has used
That
it,
is Goldust.
and he's allowed to use the name Dustin Rhodes as well if he wants to.
It says
it's-
Dustin Rhodes on here, but
Does it?
all the merch says Dustin Runnels. So that's why
Oh,
I'm
really?
thinking maybe, like the one with these.
Because I know they
face
are
on
allowed
just
to
around.
use Rhodes. I know they can, but they choose not
Cody's
to.
not.
I like the face paint.
The
for
new red
Dustin.
one.
I like the new one
Yeah,
where it's half and
I
half.
love it.
I like what he's
yeah,
doing with
yeah.
that. I think if he came out like that with the red and
Well,
black on
I
one
think he
side,
will. I think it's a given that
Yeah.
he's...
I hope
And-
so.
and
Not all red.
No.
No, half and half.
He's
Half and
not
half,
really
yeah.
angry.
Well, I just liked it because it reminded me of Darth Maul. And I was
Yeah.
It
doing
reminded me of NWO Wolfpack Sting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like the red and black. He's never
Yeah.
done red and black.
We
before,
thought,
has he?
because you coined the phrase red dust.
Red dust. Yeah, red dust.
And I think,
Yeah.
you know what, we might be better. I thought, what about blood dust? No, bloodlust.
Bloodlust. That's
Don't
good,
forget, we
yeah.
had an appalling gimmick called Blue Dust, which was just the blue.
That
The
was
blue
alright.
meanie.
No,
Was it
I-
calling him mummy, wasn't it? That was great.
It was the blue meanie.
Do you remember when
Loved the blue meanie.
in the Attitude Era when he was a different dust every week, like he did, like
Oh, the artist formerly known
Yeah.
as Gold Dust.
And he did-
I love that gimmick.
That was awesome.
Marilyn Manson dust, where he was just Marilyn Manson.
My dad wouldn't let me watch that.
Oh no, well, because he was.
He's just very old-fashioned and straight-laced, and I wasn't allowed to watch Gold Dust on the television, which just made me like him even more. 8-year-old me was like, "Why can't I like this guy in the wig and the lipstick? He's awesome." I just wanted to be Gold Dust. I thought he was so cool.
What crossed the line for me with Goldust in that period when he had the green and red and all that, and Luna for
Yeah,
Sean
with
was
the-
like,
with the
and
nipple
everyone was
tassels
ugly,
and the-
and he was like, okay, this is just weird now.
What was it? At the pay-per-view where he was, he was reading a poem, and he was kind of like on a leash with.
That's
What was it?
Luna Vachon, yes.
Yeah, I love that.
Oh,
That was
brilliant.
that was.
But then
that
from the
was
time
weird,
that
but-
Luna debuted with Shawn Michaels, it was like, who the hell is this?
Yeah.
And that in itself, that was Shawn Michaels as a heel, wasn't it? When
Mm.
Luna started debuting, that was
Yeah.
around WrestleMania 9.
It was at WrestleMania,
Yeah,
I think, wasn't
yeah,
it?
alright,
I
yeah.
think. I'm
And-
maybe wrong.
Dustin is facing his younger brother Cody
Certainly is.
at the event, which Cody has proved himself as a fantastic wrestler, just as good as, if not better than his brother and his
Now,
dad.
Have you guys seen the promo that they did back for their first match at Fastlane 2016? Because it was perfect. What
Yeah.
a wonderful promo, and
I've not seen it.
it's on the Spanish Announce Table Wrestling page. Actually, if you go on our Facebook page and click on videos,
Yeah.
we've uploaded it to there and given creditation to the person that put it together. It's basically how it's like the old guard versus the new guard.
Yeah.
And Cody is sort of saying the problem isn't just Dustin, it's people like Mark Henry, it's Kane, and it's just hogging the spotlight, these older guys, when there's this young, hungry, up and coming talent, and then Goldust is coming back saying you're entitled,
So-
you haven't paid your dues, and there's just this big conflict between the brothers.
So when you put it like that, it's basically how it is now, because Cody's come out.
Exactly like that. Exactly,
Yeah,
it's the
'cause-
same feud. It's the same feud.
Cody's
Yeah.
come out and said he wants to kill the Attitude Era.
Exactly, it's the
Yeah,
same.
yeah.
That's a line from their promo back then. They're basically rehashing that storyline,
Yeah.
but giving it the payoff that it deserved. Except then it was Goldust versus Stardust. Now it's the men behind the makeup doing it.
Oh, can we
For
talk
real.
about those two promos, by the way, by Dustin and Cody?
I thought they were great. I
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
liked them. Yes, really, really liked them. I think. What did you think, Josh?
Like, I watched Cody's promo anyway,
Mm-hmm.
and Cody's got a history of making me cry. Like, when I've met him and I've watched him do a promo, I've cried. Because he started talking about his dad, and it
Yeah.
was when Dusty died. Like, about a year after that, Cody went to the
Yeah.
Indies, and he did a speech about how wrestling on the Indies has made him love wrestling again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the promo that he did about Dustin, like, I had a tear in my eye just because of how heartfelt it was.
It feels really real, doesn't
Yeah.
it? When his voice breaks
Yeah.
and like you can see
Yeah,
like his
yeah,
eyes going
yeah.
red, and you're like, "Fuck, this is real." So I swore then. Sorry, this
Right.
is real. It does feel
And
real.
I
It's-
think that is a huge thing that is missing in wrestling nowadays.
Yes.
The connotation that it's real.
It's because
Yeah.
it's written by them, for them,
Yeah,
not by
yeah.
a million writers who don't know
Yeah,
them.
exactly.
Who's winning then?
I've got a feeling
Dustin.
Dustin's going to win it.
He won the first one.
Yeah, but
I
the
think
Goldust won the first one,
Yeah,
with the plan being that Cody would get his win back at Mania.
Yeah, but I don't think they're going to go off that though.
I
To be
think.
honest.
True.
I disagree. I think it might be Cody because it might be that old thing of I don't need, like Dustin might say I don't need the win, you need the win. And
No,
just, like, let him beat him.
I would say it would be the opposite actually. I'd say Cody doesn't need the win. He's already going to be a big shot in AEW. I'd say Dustin gets the win and that's it. They draw a line in the sand.
You don't think
Big
this is the
hug,
first of
big
many
handshake.
matches?
I don't think
No,
so.
I thought this
really
was going to be
don't.
the first of 3.
No,
I don't.
I think he's going to be a producer.
I agree.
Yeah.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
That's the best role for him. That being, they're not going to do like a tag
Or a
match.
head trainer or
Young
some
Bucks
trainer or
versus the Rhodes Brothers.
I would tend to disagree. I would say that I think this is more or less a one-off. I'd be surprised.
Yeah.
I would,
Right.
I would
I
rather
don't think
just.
he's going to be a
that's it.
regular wrestler.
Yeah.
See, I do.
It should be a one-off as well. Sorry, I keep interrupting you.
That's what I keep interrupting you. Don't worry.
Yeah,
it's fine.
it should be a one-off as well because of the way it's been built.
Yes.
See? I mean, you can't have a second match and build it up the same way that you have here.
Yeah,
It just
true.
wouldn't feel right. So I think it should be a one and done, and I think it will be a one and done.
Do you think Dustin's retiring after this match? Because I don't.
No, I don't think he is.
I tended to think that he was. Sorry,
I don't.
But I
think
do
he's-
agree that he'll be a producer as well.
I
Absolutely.
don't think he's retiring because of his T-shirt. It says one last run, or is it?
Really?
right.
I mean,
Yeah.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah.
I think the funny thing is that you can never be too sure with kayfabe. It's always will they, won't they?
Yeah.
Of course.
I never
Yeah,
thought
yeah.
that.
Mm.
I never thought that Shawn Michaels would step foot in a ring in a competitive match, and then the Sheik threw several $1 million.
And there he is doing backflips
You know,
on his forehead all of a sudden.
I never thought.
I never thought Sean would lose his smile, but he did.
I mean, you know, well, this is. I never thought Sean would lose his hair, and he did. But you know, but the thing is, though, right? The thing is, they're all. I mean, that main event in Saudi Arabia was just typically that one tag match was typically proof that you can buy anything. So let's forget the idea of someone retiring means I will never wrestle again.
Foley said he'd come back for the right money.
Foley is coming back for
I think-
WAW. Not in the ring, but he's there in
No,
Norwich.
true.
You
He
know?
is in Norwich, yeah.
Yeah.
But Foley said, I think he may have been a little bit.
Yeah, he
humor
was.
in it.
He was joking.
He was joking, yeah. But for the right money, he'd face
I
him
mean,
and take
full-
Hell in a Cell again.
Oh yeah.
Foley is a nutcase, so let's.
He's mad,
That's
but
it.
he really doesn't need to be anywhere near a wrestling ring at this stage. And I'm all for wrestlers carrying on until they're 80. I don't like the idea of people retiring at their prime. I like to see people have a swan song out.
Yeah.
And I'm
A bit like
unpopular in
Ric
that
Flair,
opinion.
that's
I mean,
that's the
Yeah,
thing
like a
they're
Ric
doing,
Flair,
yeah.
a Terry Funk. I like that. That being said, Mick Foley, God no, he needs to be done. His body's butchered.
He's done. He's done. He's got nothing left in him. But
Me and Lucas have got two different opinions on the Undertaker.
We do, and that
I think,
very different.
I think he's done, and you want him to carry on.
Yeah, like I was
You
just
want-
saying,
you want
I
him to
like
carry
them
on
carrying
until
on.
he's in a wheelchair,
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
you? Just like-
absolutely, yeah.
Just wheel him out and just get up, do tombstone, go sit back down.
I selfishly like to see the wrestlers go on into their old as they can. I like watching the Greg Hammer Valentine matches these days. People like Demolition is still going. I like the old timers.
Tony Atlas still wrestles.
Tony Atlas, yeah, Jerry Lawler still goes.
How?
Lawler, Jesus.
How did these things
Tony
happen?
Atlas is about 80, isn't
Yeah,
he? He's like,
yeah.
Is he that old now?
Well, maybe he's not that old, but he is.
He's getting on though. Yeah,
Oh, by
he's,
the
he's-
way, Wayne,
Yes.
the Rock and Roll Express.
Oh, they're still.
Oh,
they
yeah,
wrestle,
They've
Yeah.
still got it as well. They're great. They're 60 odd
Yeah.
years old, and they're
they're
great.
at the Crockett Cup this year. We'll get on to that in a bit
Wow.
actually, because that was
Yeah,
harping
no,
back to what we were saying about production and the feel of a
Like
product.
they can still go as well. Like
Big time. Oh yeah.
recently, they had a match with LAX, and it was great.
Wow.
Really, really good.
Wow.
Yeah.
So we've talked enough about the Battle Royale.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that another time when it's happened because we'll see what they're like. But the last match on Wikipedia at least is the Young Bucks versus Lucha Bros for the AAA tag team titles.
Okay.
Oh.
So that's a funny one
Spot
because
Yeah.
but will the Lucha Bros want the AAA tag team titles back so they can take them back to Mexico,
Yeah.
or what will they do with
Probably.
it? I don't know.
I think what Lucas was saying earlier, this definitely is good for promotion. Massive way of getting the Mexican fan base involved. Massive way of maybe getting an underground movement for AEW in Mexico. You've got to imagine with WWE that their fan base in Mexico is huge. You've got to imagine that any wrestling promotion in North America has to look at Mexico as being a massive undercurrent of their
And
promotion.
That's it. Some of the most. I mean, Lucha Underground's still a thing, and to Impact to have a good presence in Mexico at the minute.
I think within the next 5 to 10 years, you will see NXT have its own show in Mexico, in Japan.
Yeah, me
and all
too.
these other places.
Global localization
Yeah,
is happening.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
no, I think it's going to happen.
Germany.
I think it's a matter of time, which is
Yeah.
a shame for the indies because WWE is just going to
Monopolise the whole thing.
Yeah.
Absolutely, but
The next one that Triple H wanted to do was Australia, But the thing is,
That's interesting.
some of the people in NXT UK are Australian. So
That's
how's that going
because,
to work?
as far as Vince McMahon understands, if you've got the Union flag on your flag, then you're British.
The thing is, this is going to be a repeat of NXT UK because Travis, well, he's from New Zealand. Travis Banks, Tony Storm, Rhea Ripley.
What's the young girl called? The injured lady. Really good in the ring, young girl.
It's not Nixon Newell, is it?
No, not a little Kiwi girl.
Oh, Dakota Kai.
Dakota Kai.
There was
Yeah,
somebody,
yeah,
there was
sorry,
somebody up north the other night from New Zealand.
Was
that?
Yeah, she was billed as being from New Zealand.
Charlie Evans.
Yes,
Yeah,
She
yes.
was down over,
really
she?
good.
Yeah.
No?
Charlie Evans, are you not thinking of Charlie? Charlie
No.
Morgan. You're thinking
maybe
Charlie Morgan.
Charlie
Charlie
Morgan.
F. Morgan. No.
With this as well, I think AAA have a good relationship with this working relationship with All Elite, but do they not also work with Impact as well?
Yes, that's what I was
they work
just-
with a lot
yeah.
of
CML has a relationship with New Japan,
New Japan.
who
and
work with
Impact.
Ring of Honor. So it
Yeah.
just who
think
people
they're
are friends with and who people are aligned with. When you write it on a piece of paper, you kind of can see where things.
It's Triple Mania though. If you watch
Yes,
last
I
time, it's
did.
hilarious.
Lots of
For the
botches.
wrong reasons.
Vampiro still wants his music.
Yes, I was
Did
just
they
going
ever
to
play
say
Vampiro
And he's just
music?
like
Yeah, they did,
standing there.
Eventually.
AC/DC came on, but it was like 10 minutes late.
Yeah.
And
Like,
it was like 1
And
second of it or
Matt
something.
Stryker, the ever professional videos, like did his
It's like,
absolute
oh,
best to cover
He
it.
can't.
didn't
He needs his music.
He needs
to get
his
psyched
music.
up.
Yeah.
Striker debuted for Impact on Sunday night at their Code Red pay-per-view, which was a
What,
main
did-
pay-per-view, because their Global Force, like, equivalent of the network, obviously
Yeah.
it's got Global Force
It's
branding,
called Impact
plus, or
Plus now.
yeah, so they've
used to be called the
rebranded their
Global
whole network. It's no longer got GFW connotations. They kicked it off with this I pay-per-view, Code Red. Did you watch it? It was alright.
No, I want to watch it because it's got a lot of good wrestlers on it.
Did Stryker call the show, did he?
No, he's backstage interviewer.
Oh, why? Like, when you've got Matt Stryker
He's
there,
got
surely
guts.
you want him to
Use
replace
him.
Josh Matthews.
Yeah.
You know what
The
I
thing
mean?
is, with
Like,
Matt Stryker, what I didn't like about him on ECW, he was too much of a smart ass. He was like trying to outdo JR and everything, and it's just like, no,
yeah,
please
but
don't.
he's a great announcer though. If you,
Oh,
if
he's,
you
he
listen-
yeah.
is good.
He was a breath of fresh air in WWE, wasn't he, at the time?
You know, and I've wanted him to do announcement for Impact for ages, mainly
Yeah.
because Josh Matthews is unbearable.
I'm not a fan of Josh
I
Matthews.
I don't mind Josh. I think
But
he's all right. I think obviously I'd rather someone with it.
It's when he
but-
gets. It's when he shouts, mate. He just
Yeah.
sounds cringy. To be honest.
I like Don Callis on Impact.
Oh, yeah, like-
Oh, Don Callis, yeah.
I love that guy. Like
the Jackal.
especially when Scarlet Bordeaux comes out, and he's just sitting there drooling. It's like
I
Can't say I blame him.
No, I was going to say I sincerely really miss one particular announcer, which is Joey Styles. But I think that
yes.
the
What's he
line.
doing these days?
He made some comments about President-elect at the time, Donald Trump, was forced to apologise as a result of those comments, and said because it was a violation of his free speech, he felt he had no real place in wrestling at the time, and so took himself out
that
of
was
that.
one of the Evolve shows.
That's
wasn't
right,
it?
and he gave every check that Evolve gave to him, he gave back.
But
and
what
said,
happened was though, didn't he get
So
a
was
warning
he-
at first, and then he said it again? And
He
then,
did, because I mean, in fairness to him, he has every right to say. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a certain point
Was
where
it on air that you said this?
it was as part of a broadcast.
Okay.
Yeah.
My problem with Joey Styles, sorry we're going off subject.
No,
here,
it's
he's a little bit too uncensored for
he is.
my
Yeah.
liking.
Yeah.
I didn't really enjoy when he was in WWE and they used to do the work shoot. That was so cringe.
I mean, do you remember?
his ECW stuff was very good.
Do you remember what he
Yeah.
said about Mike Awesome at One Night Stand?
Yes.
He was slagging off Mike Awesome, and then when he did a dive, I think he said, it's a shame that he didn't succeed in taking his own life, and then of course
He died
a
not
year
long after,
later,
didn't he?
Yeah.
he died and took his own life.
Oh, is that how he did?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
That comment didn't age very well,
No,
did it?
no,
Jeez.
No. Yeah, so I'm not a big fan of.
No,
but-
fair enough.
Just,
But this is the great thing about the variety of what's available. Yeah.
Going back to this match, I think it may be the main event, even though we think it's Omega.
So
and
the one
Saka.
with titles and
Yeah, not only that, but they love their tag matches, don't they? As their main events.
They're a very tag orientated
And
company.
I was
the
saying-
Young Bucks especially.
Fair about the Lucha Brothers. They're great wrestlers, but I don't feel they've ever had any great matches
I
because
think on their own they have. I think Phoenix TX and Pentagon Junior is fantastic on their own, but certain kinds of matches.
to me, I just think that's spot fest. It's flips and spins for the sake of flips and spins, and a lot of it doesn't make sense, which is a shame because they're both so good. But for me, I think Omega and Penta.
Oh right,
good.
that was a good one.
That was
I
good.
was going to say that. I really
but
like
for
that
me,
one.
it's a lot of flips and spins for the sake of it. But let that be. If it's going to be a spot fest, let it be a fun spot fest.
If you get a chance, try and watch Penta against Marty Martinez on Lucha Underground. It is one of the most brutal, horrible matches you'll ever watch in terms of blood and hardcore stuff.
I'll check.
See,
Which
I like
season
it.
was it? I'll try and
Oh
follow.
my god, I'm not good with my seasons. I think it might have been season 3.
Okay.
There's hardcore and then there's
I watch the highlights on YouTube,
Yeah,
but I don't sit and watch
I'm
the full
probably
shows.
the only casual Lucha Underground watcher because I only watch certain episodes of it.
Yeah, I'm like that.
I watch it. I watched it religiously when it was on.
Me too. When it
The
first
first
started.
2 seasons were fine. It's just after that.
I just don't like the way it does. It's so removed from other wrestling promotions. It's like now everything's almost like one giant crossover, isn't it?
The kind of what's the word for it? The backstage segments were too well produced.
But it's not even like a wrestling show. It's a drama with bits of wrestling in it. Yeah, that's fine.
That's what I like about it.
It was so
Yeah,
different.
yeah.
Impact's starting to go that way, isn't it? A little bit.
Yeah, well, they do that with their
I like that
promos,
style.
don't they?
Yeah,
Impact-
I like
well,
the Impact style where it's like they're looking through the window.
To be
They've,
honest,
they've got a working relationship with Lucha
Yes, they
Underground,
do.
actually,
Yeah,
which is
yeah.
where that probably comes from.
It is,
Yeah,
I would imagine so. To begin with, I hated it because I'm a wrestling traditionalist. That being said, now it's grown on me so much. I really think it's if a generation doesn't like something, it's a good note that the next generation they're going to love it. Like look at rock and roll, look at emo, look at all these like fads and crazes where the generation before can't stand it, but it's massive. I didn't like this style to begin with, but actually looking in hindsight, it's very cool.
Yeah.
And I think it's a way forward, a breath of fresh air for wrestling with this.
Well, WWE tried
Style.
to do that for a bit, didn't they?
When they did
like
the New Day
pre-recorded
versus.
Bray Wyatt, especially when he did his promos were like pre-recorded.
I know what you mean. I
And
can't
Matt
remember what
Hardy
the
as
promo
well.
was called, but I know.
I
what
thought
you
it
mean.
was the New Day
Yeah.
versus the Wyatts at the compound.
They
That
did
was
that,
like that, wasn't
and
it?
then they did Bray Wyatt versus Matt Hardy, and then Matt Hardy
Oh,
started
yes.
doing pre-recorded stuff,
Yeah.
and it got a bit too overproduced. And Finn Balor tried it for a bit,
Oh,
and
did
it
he?
just didn't.
Not the
When
same.
we had these feud with Bray Wyatt, and it just
Oh,
just
yeah.
didn't work.
Should we talk about CM Punk because he is blowing
Forgot
the
about
internet
that.
up
Yes.
recently, and
Yeah.
it's got
Absolutely.
me excited, and he hasn't
Yeah.
even debuted. Well, assuming that he is going to debut.
Do you think CM Punk's turning up at All Elite?
I think he's turning up, but I don't think he's going to be there until All In 2. Which is where I would debut him anyway.
'Cause that's in Chicago, isn't it?
Yeah.
Which is where he's from, but not
I'm
where he
kind of
lives.
thinking, what role could he play? And I think people maybe assume that Cody Rhodes is going to be the commissioner. Maybe they assume that. I think CM Punk being the commissioner of AEW, I think that kind of role would be quite useful for him. I think he has that mouth.
I think it would be useful, but I don't think it's what the fans would want to see. I think
They want to see him in the ring, don't
yeah,
they? Can he still go?
Yeah,
Who knows?
Well, we
I
don't-
mean,
we
you
don't
know,
know,
that's
do we?
true.
Yeah, that's yeah.
His UFC record says otherwise, but I mean,
No. But then again, he was going up against professional mixed martial artists,
Yeah,
and he's what 42.
I think he's just 40.
Just 40.
I'm sure.
So I mean,
You can tell him
in
if
a-
you'd CM Punk, but like,
in a wrestling environment, I can see him doing well. I hope All Elite do get Moxley and CM Punk and a few others as well. I think it's going to do wonders for their business.
Well, I think that CM Punk will end up wrestling at All Elite,
Mhm.
but nobody can answer that other than Punk himself. And it's what Punk wants at the end of the day. It's what he wants. Like,
I feel it might
we
be a
can't
one-off.
force the guy to wrestle.
Yeah.
so.
A one-off,
It
yeah.
might be a one-off match. I think it might be CM Punk versus Pac because that's never happened. Has
Yeah,
it happened?
no,
I don't know.
I don't think
I
so.
don't think so. But
Maybe if it has happened once at a push, but I've never seen that.
Yeah.
if you
somewhere along
do
chemical.
bring him back for a match, though, surely it can't be anybody other than Omega.
Actually,
Punk
that's the
versus
match.
Omega would be
that's like a
awesome,
fantasy
yeah.
match, isn't
That's
it?
a dream match. Yeah, that's a dream
Why
match.
not? Yeah. Actually, that's more convincing.
I
isn't it?
think he will debut at All In 2 which is rumoured to be the week before they go on TV.
Yeah,
And then-
October, isn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah.
And I think that would be a great way to debut him.
Yeah, everyone invested for the new show.
Yeah, because All In will be on. He'll show up at the main event, and then you'd think, wow, I've got to see what happens on Tuesday night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tuesday night Dynamite.
Either that or he just doesn't, and then he goes to Saudi for a match against Goldberg.
Can you imagine if he takes the Vince payout for double the money?
Yeah, there's only one opponent I want to see him in WWE, and that's Chris Heyman.
And who's sorry?
The Doctor, Chris Heyman. You know?
Chris Saban, yeah.
No.
Chris Heyman, who's that?
The Doctor who we tried to sue.
Oh, the guy that you sued, the Vax Packs
yeah.
guy, right? Oh, yeah, that would be awesome.
The whole build-up package could just be the entire repeat of the Cult Commander podcast. Now, I would pay to see that. I would love it.
Can you imagine? Cabana, is he not a part of All Elite? No. Ring of Honor, isn't he? He's in Ring of Honor,
isn't he? Is he not the national champion?
He's the national champion of NWA, which we'll get onto in a moment. Actually.
Well, the whole thing, it's a good job that Cult Commander isn't a part of AEW, because if he was, I don't think we'd be seeing CM Punk.
No, very true.
So,
and just to quickly touch it, because I'm not sure if we did, John Moxley, aka Dean Ambrose, former WWE champion, he is AEW bound, isn't he?
Well, we think he is.
We think he
is.
Judging by that promo, there's a lot of
some dice on the wall with a 2 and a 5 and it, the 25th, and it's the dice is that logo for all Double or Nothing.
Yeah.
So a lot of people jump to that conclusion. But
and the
is it
the tally on the wall, the numbers were 2-5.
I don't know, but
maybe I think maybe. There's stuff online, rumours saying that Impact are very interested in him, which I think is a bit of clickbait, because of course they're interested in him.
No, I think that would almost be a perfect move for John Moxley, because it gives
Dean Ambrose, John Moxley.
It gives Impact buzz as well, which is so desperate.
Imagine him in OVE.
Yeah, well, exactly, but even better, imagine a feud with Sami Callihan, because they're best mates in real life, aren't they?
They're a tag team for a long time, weren't they?
Yeah. But I think that would be a great get for Impact, but it's a case of whether they can afford him. Although, Anthem is quite big, isn't it?
Yeah, they've got money, because they put a massive deal. Put a massive offer for Omega and Jericho. Yeah. And it's only because All Elite came in at the last minute and swooped them up that they're not in Impact now. Well, so they do have money for the right stars.
Can you imagine that? If that happened?
Yeah. What an alternate timeline that we're getting Omega and Jericho in Impact.
Yeah. Well, there was rumours, I don't know if you remember, did you watch Bound for Glory last year?
Yes, I did.
Do you know Eli Drake's opponent was meant to be Chris Jericho?
Oh, was that? Really? Yes, it was, in New York. And it was...
Abyss, wasn't it?
No, wasn't it?
There was 2 rumours.
That little guy, the guy that comes out with Carmella. James Ellsworth, that's it.
There was 2 rumours.
You're right.
There was 2 rumours. It was either supposed to be Chris Jericho or Joey Janela, and they couldn't get them, so it ended up being
James Ellsworth. Imagine going from Chris Jericho, first ever undisputed wrestling champion, to James Ellsworth.
The jobber who's been caught doing naughty things recently.
Yeah, I was
allegedly.
That,
yeah, but I'll not say what, because it might not be true allegedly.
Yeah, some alleged rumours that are flying around about him. Potentially true, potentially not. So
we don't want
really
to get into that, do we?
No. He's somebody who's not going to be an All Elite, I don't think.
Probably not, no.
Just to avoid controversy.
Unless they did sign him purely to get his ass kicked every week.
Watch him get put through a table or something.
Yeah.
There was rumours that Enzo Amore and Big Cass, but under the new names, were going to be in it, but that's not going to happen.
No, I don't think Cody. But
he doesn't like them.
No, he doesn't. That being said, they do look up to Dusty.
Yeah, they were good friends with Dusty.
Well, I know Enzo specifically came out and said that Dusty tore him a lot. So. Yeah. But that's nothing that I want to see anyway. So.
No, me too. No. Earlier we were talking about production and old school wrestling being made to feel fresh and new again. And I just wanted to sort of touch on, because we brought it up a couple of times by mistake already, but the Crockett Cup. I know you watched it, Josh.
Yeah.
I stayed up and watched it live. What did you think of the Crockett Cup?
Oh, I loved it. As a newer wrestling fan, I don't want to say newer wrestling fan because I've been watching it for 17 years now. But as someone that doesn't know as much about the NWA as a lot of other people would, it was great for me because I've learned so much about the history and about the competitors.
And very rich heritage.
The whole production was just it felt like I was in 1985.
Yeah, it was great,
It
but
was
in a
really-
good way. In a good way,
yeah.
It was fantastic. My favourite wrestling is like 60s, 70s, and a bit of 80s wrestling. I love the old stuff, the territories. I love things like your old Lou there stuff. Like I love watching old matches back. So
I
for
feel
me,
the 80s are coming back in
Oh,
terms
big
of
time.
wrestling because not just things like even in WWE you've got a lot of 80s influence, and you've also got things like you've seen that the Crocker Cup. You've got TV shows like Glow.
yeah.
And then you've got like TV shows like Dark Side of the Ring, which is mainly about 80s wrestling.
Dark Side of the Ring. We'll bring that up on when we go live later. When we go live on media, we'll talk about Dark Side of the Ring.
But there's a lot of 80s influence at the
Oh,
moment,
big
which
time.
is surprising, really.
Yeah, and that was the big boom period, wasn't it? Really,
Yeah.
it was 1985.
Yeah.
I suppose 1984 if you think Starcade, sorry.
And that's the thing, it's simple just to make something feel like, what's the word I'm looking for, authentic. It's such a simple thing to do to get people invested.
Easy
And
peasy.
I think that is what Billy Corgan...
Billy Corgan's done a wicked job.
Billy Corgan and Dave Lagana have done
production,
wonders.
Little things like bringing back the 1980s version of the tag belts. Those tag belts, by the way, NWA Tag Team Championships, have had some gorgeous designs. I'm a massive wrestling championship belt nerd. Some of the championship designs for that title have been awesome, but I'm glad to see they brought back that retro one. It's really cool. The women's title that Jazz recently vacated, we mentioned earlier, that had a really awesome design. They've actually stripped it back to like the 70s version, where it just looks like a gold belt, a bit chunky one.
Oh, yeah.
But it looks old-fashioned.
The squares.
Yeah, it's cool.
What do you think of the new national title? Because that is...
It's like the old United States Championship that Ric Flair had and Wyatt McDaniel had. Absolutely love it. To me, they always said that's... When you watch a lot of old tapes back, I used to have a lot of VHS tapes I used to trade with a friend when I was a kid. Didn't go outdoors very much. And all the mid-card feuds were always for that red championship. That was the old United States Championship design.
It was the workhorse title.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, love it. Love what they're doing with the national title. It feels like the workhorse championship. It's a lot of fun. The main event, though, geez. In terms of like a King's Road style of wrestling where there's a lot of psychology, a lot of fleshing out and padding out the match, a lot of sort of technicalities and odd little subtle nuances in a wrestling match, that main event of Oldest versus Skull was fantastic, and it really made Skull look like $1 million.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and if you remember as well, it wasn't just the match that they spent the entire night building up, because they would show little clips of the 10 pounds of gold during the night that would focus on the main event, and I just thought that was so good.
Yeah, really clever.
Because it got you more excited.
It got you like emotionally invested in what's coming up.
Like you felt like you were watching, like a mixed martial arts event in terms of build up, and that is something that needs to be focused on within wrestling nowadays.
NWA are very good with their promotion in the same way that All Elite are, where instead of having a TV show, it's all social media.
Yeah.
I know, I've been following NWA through YouTube recently.
Well, I do as well.
Yeah, £10 of gold YouTube channel, that's great. Obviously they've got a fantastic relationship with Ring of Honor, which is a good thing. And that Ring of Honor obviously work with New Japan, so that opens up other doors there. Maybe that means we're not going to get an All Elite NWA alliance yet, because they're on the other side.
We necessarily need.
No, we don't. But it just would be nice. Like you said, we don't need that. Did you see who won the Crockett Cup?
Wasn't it? Just say it because I can't remember.
It was Skull's little stable that he's got with.
the Villains Enterprise.
Yeah, Villains Enterprise.
Oh, you have mentioned that.
Yeah,
sorry,
how cool are those two? Wow, some really. It's just the whole tournament itself just felt like a throwback from the 80s.
And it wasn't rushed, was it?
Not at all. Paced wonderfully. Yeah. Matches in between to break it up.
Because that is one of the things that I don't like about tournaments. A lot of tournaments you see in wrestling, it's
like King of the Ring '98, where it's like it's match. Oh yeah.
And that wasn't that. They took their time with it, and just the whole card from top to bottom was just there was no faults from my end. I mean,
me too. It's just really good to see old school wrestling feeling fresh. So you've got kind of this old guard of NWA. and then you kind of got this new guard of All Elite. It's just interesting time to be alive at the minute. It's really
well. It caters for both the old school and the new school, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I didn't watch the Crown Cup, unfortunately, but the NWA product at the moment seems to be they're trying to bring the old style back. Like Billy Corgan the reason he bought it was because he wanted to bring it back, rather than copy off somebody else.
I don't know if you know this, sorry, but about when was it? About 1999, Billy Corgan was actually supposed to buy ECW off.
Paul Heyman, right?
And he was going to pump a shit ton of money in it.
Can you imagine?
And then had that would have happened,
imagine if that happened.
It wouldn't have went out of business.
He nearly bought Impact as well, didn't he? At one point.
Well,
he put a lot of money in. He put like millions of dollars into it, and then they messed him about allegedly.
He's got such a great mind.
Big time.
The thing is, in 1999 he had better fish to fry, didn't he? Really?
Was it like,
world famous
rockstar? It might
rockstar.
not have been 1999. In fact, it could have been just before WCW went out of business. So
2001.
Yeah, I think that is probably more the timeline. But yeah, like he was supposed to have a meeting with Tommy Dreamer and Paul Heyman, but Paul Heyman didn't show up.
His passion went out of music a bit in the early 2000s, didn't it? So that would make sense, actually.
Yeah.
But funnily enough, it's like a strange link. Smashing Pumpkins are playing Download Festival, and the NXT UK tent's still there. And I was going to say, if I get, because I might be doing press for it, if I can get NXT UK, great, but even better if I can get Billy Corgan.
Even better.
Just talk to him about NWA all the time. Yeah, be like, I'll take this one. You've just asked him all about wrestling. You haven't asked anything about music. What are you doing, Neil? Oh, sorry. No, I'm not really good at that. But it is
clever how they're constantly referencing the likes of Jack Briscoe, Harley Race, Dory Funk Jr., but the product doesn't feel old and stale. It feels fresh, new and exciting. Yeah. How strange that you've got like the likes of Harley Race being spoken about and Ric Flair, yet the product feels so fresh.
Yes.
What a clever thing they've done with NWA at the minute.
Well, even like veterans, like, do you remember, it might have been Nick Aldis's first match in the NWA. Do you remember his match with Tim Storm?
Yes, that's when he won the championship.
The first match where Tim Storm beat him.
Yeah.
I mean, I love that.
It's awesome.
Was great, And
Tim Storm's getting on. Was he like 50?
He's not.
Oh, he's older than that.
Is he older than 50?
He's about 53.
Yeah, he's
not a young man.
No,
unfortunately.
He was in his peak a long time ago, mid-80s, wasn't
it? But that seems to be like Jazz. I mean, how old is she at the minute?
50.
She's going to be 50.
Is she?
Yeah,
she's still in great shape for
age. She was champion, for 4 years? She only dropped the belt because she's injured.
It's like up there with Okada, isn't it?
Yeah. But Jazz is awesome. Hall of Fame career there for Jazz.
I think they've made the right decision in what's she called, Sienna.
Sienna won it. Yeah. Sienna's growing on me. Sienna's growing on me. I'm not.
She's. I've always thought she's great.
Yeah, you've always been a fan of her since Impact before then.
I thought she's the one who should be, and she was in the Mae Young class. I thought, great, we've got a great roster of women now in WWE. It never happened, unfortunately.
No, she never went that way, did she?
And they dropped the ball on Tessa Blanchard as well, unfortunately. But
Tessa Blanchard is superb. What a brilliant wrestler is Tessa Blanchard.
Did you see a match with Gail Kim?
Yeah.
So good.
Very good match. Is she turned babyface now?
I'm not sure.
I don't think so.
Babyface turn, or whether it's just like.
We'll find out on Impact, won't we, this week?
Yeah, I think she's just kind of like. I know it sounds really cruel to say, but she's like Impact's version of Charlotte Flair at the minute. It's like you don't know if she's heel or face, but she's got that heritage and she's got the great pedigree.
But going back to, I don't know how much time we've got here, but going back to All Elite,
give it a few more minutes.
That is a thing that I think Impact should be pushing for, a working relationship, because the buzz that Impact would have then.
But if they don't have that working relationship, All Elite's going to probably kill Impact.
And that is the only thing that Impact is lacking. It's just buzz. I mean, the product.
The matches are great.
Yeah, the matches are great.
Well, they're not spot fest.
You know, they've got a booker that knows what he's doing. Don Callis.
Yeah.
I mean,
Don Callis is a genius.
They've got everything, all they need is an audience, and that is something that AEW. I keep on wanting to call them AEW, but AEW could help them with that.
Yeah, they could. I mean, it's a shame that Impact. I mean, it's not a bad product, but it's a shame that it's not what it once was.
But I think All Elite could be the death knell for Impact.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I mean, TNA was fantastic about 15 years ago.
It depends if AEW want to play with others.
Yeah,
I think they will.
They want to be their own island.
They want to come across as Mr. Nicey, but they're not. They're business.
I'm not sure because I read the other day that they've signed Pentagon and Phoenix to exclusive contracts. Which means they can't work Impact or Indies or anything like that.
The Lucha Brothers are allegedly leaving Impact once. I think it's once Tuesday Night Dynamite goes weekly in October. I think then we're not going to be seeing them on Impact anymore.
I thought they were leaving at Rebellion because if you watch after the match, they were all hugging each other and the whole roster came out and said goodbye. And it
looks that way, didn't it? But lo and behold,
it's the curtain
not
call
the case,
for them. It's interesting.
It would just be a shame if there wasn't working relationships, but because that could be huge. That is one thing. That is one thing that hurts WWE, in my opinion. I mean, can you imagine NWA and WWE coming together for
it'd be brilliant.
A big show? I mean, Billy Corgan's already said he would work with.
Of course
he would. He'd be mad not to. He'd be mad not to.
I think Billy Corgan will probably end up being a fan of AEW either way, but I think he will want a piece of that action as well.
Yeah.
He might even lend the NWA belt to All Elite for a bit like what they did with TNA.
Well, that is one of the things that I wanted them to do. I said, there's no need for an AEW title yet. Just do something with the NWA.
That'd be great. Remember when they put it on Cody for a couple of months last year, the year before? Last year.
It was like 5 weeks, wasn't it?
Yeah, it wasn't even a couple of months. 5-6 weeks, something like that.
It was quite a nice touch.
Yeah,
obviously it was his dad's title.
I really liked Cody as world champion, and I feel. It'd be cool to see the NWA Championship. Imagine if they just lent it out, put it on.
I think
Jericho for a couple of months.
That's the thing. I think the people who should have it is Jericho, Kenny Omega, Pac. A few like who else am I thinking of? People like not Marty Skull, like Hangman Page.
Maybe
people like that.
I think we'll see Hang. It's hard to say, isn't it?
Hangman Page.
Adam Page.
I think we'll see Adam Page win the title by the end of the year.
By the end of the year, They were sort of hinting he was going to be their first world champion. They weren't giving him that, I call it the Randy Orton spot, the Brock Lesnar spot, where they're a young next big thing, sort of that young push. And why not? He's good enough.
Well, it wasn't just his match with Joey Janela. Do you remember the one with Kota Ibushi at Supercard of Honor last night?
Very good.
It was awesome.
Hangman, he's great, isn't he? But the thing is, with the storyline that they're pushing, it's a bit cruel, but it's like, are you going to be full gear ready? And I think they're either going to go one or two ways. He's either going to look exactly the same, and they're going to be like, oh, wow, yeah, and then, or he's going to be absolutely ripped.
I think he's got shredded off camera.
Or he's going to be skinny.
Yeah. He was never in terrible shape, was he?
No, he's never been fat. Come on.
Yeah, but I think, imagine if he comes out, absolutely ripped. Like that. Maybe that's where they're going with it.
There was rumours, I don't know if it was confirmed actually, but Triple H actually offered him a contract for NXT.
Yeah, for WWE money as well.
He turned it down.
All of them. Back in December, Triple H actually was a fan of the Elite channel apparently, and he offered all of the Elite contracts up until WrestleMania to work a program. Omega versus Styles allegedly in the main event of Mania. It would be a year-long contract, but if they weren't happy they could leave after Mania, and they turned it down to do AEW.
Was that how long it was? Just up until Mania?
They had the choice of leaving after Mania. So we could have got the Elite at WrestleMania this year, but they turned it down.
Because I understand, I would have understood why they turned it down if it was 5 years, but for that...
Yeah. Apparently it's big money.
You've got to take it, haven't you?
Yeah.
I think
tick that off your
list. If they did that, though, that would then contractually lock them to not start working on AEW in January, and then they need to bid for the TV slots for October. So I think it was in their interest.
Yeah, but even still, man, can you imagine?
Yeah, as a fan, I would have loved to have seen Omega and Styles at Mania.
I think it was more Cody that pushed for them to turn it down, because I think had Cody have not been with the Elite, I think they would have took that.
Yeah,
but I think because Cody's sort of I don't want to say bitter, but I still don't think he's happy about the way he was used. So I think it was more him that turned them down.
The actual.
He's been there. He knows. He knows the score.
Yeah, that's it. Mm.
Oh well, we've got a new wrestling company now, so
there we
that's
go.
Good. That's good.
A lot of people have been calling it a T-shirt company, naysaying it. I personally don't think it's going to be competition for WWE straight away. But if they've got a good 5-year plan. In 5 years' time, they could be good competition for, say, NXT, Ring of Honor, MLW, guys like that.
Yeah.
That's what I think. Because I was saying to people on Facebook, you're missing the point. I think WWE isn't the competition for AEW.
MLW is.
NXT.
Yeah, NXT is.
Because they're going to go head to head against the takeovers, aren't they?
Oh,
So-
yes.
Yeah. Yeah, this is it.
Yeah.
But it's a very exciting time to be alive. It feels like the Monday Night Wars are back on, even though it's not head-to-head competition.
Yeah.
Things like you've got Money in the Bank, which they brought forward. Because it was going to be Backlash, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was going to
They
be Backlash
brought
in the
Money in
Championship.
the Bank forward and put all these big...
June.
Yeah,
It's going to be Saudi, isn't it? In June,
Saudi in June now, and no Backlash at all this year now.
Undertaker's coming for that paycheck.
Oh yes, my favourite wrestler, the Undertaker's coming back, and I want him to wrestle Goldberg. That's a dream match for me.
Undertaker versus Finn Balor, aren't they?
Oh, yeah, that's another dream match for me. That's a main match.
Don't get him started because he's all up for that, you know.
Oh
Like,
yes, I could literally watch
Undertaker
the
versus AJ Styles.
I could watch the Undertaker wrestle until he's 70. Love his matches. That match he had with Rusev last year, magnificent.
It was alright, it wasn't bad actually.
He loved the tag team match with DX.
I did. I loved it.
I was
It
like,
told a story.
come on, dude.
It was entertaining at least.
I was very, very sports
It was very
entertained. It
sloppy,
wasn't
but-
Okada and Omega or anything like that.
No, I didn't
But it was
expect
just.
it
It was
to be,
no. It was never going to be. It was just.
It was a good laugh.
It was a good laugh, and it was sports
But
entertained.
I-
It told
for the
a
wrong
cool
reasons.
story.
I was just a bit sad watching it, to be honest. Just
Yeah.
yeah.
It was a fun watch because I watched it at the casino because it was one of the first ones that's on during the day,
Yeah.
and we watched it in the casino with me and Wayne and Chris and Mark, who used to do the show.
Mhm.
We all watched it together in the casino, and everyone was laughing, which was a good
When
feeling.
Shawn
because it was
when
like-
Kane's mask fell off.
yes, and his wig fell off
Yeah,
as well.
and then Kane doesn't have like.
He went, whoops.
Yeah, he doesn't have a mask on for like 2 minutes, and all of a sudden
And then he goes,
he's got it back
"Oh,
on again.
It was like he just put it back on as if nothing happened. It was like,
And then Shawn Michaels like did a moonsault and then lands on his face
Yeah.
on concrete.
Because they didn't catch him.
No, they didn't catch him. Yeah,
And
do you
that
know
was
what?
inexcusable. Like
Kane was the only one there that's a regular active competitor of the roster. I mean, he's not there very often, but out of all four, he wrestles the most, and he boxed the most.
yeah.
He's got no excuse.
He's got no excuse.
Well, he's a mayor now, isn't he?
He is
Yeah.
the mayor of Knoxville County.
Yeah.
So then, guys,
On that note,
yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good
that's
chat.
how
lads. Good
Talking
chat.
about Kane being the mayor, what a way to end.
That's our
Yeah.
next subject: politicians and wrestling.
well, Matt Morgan's
Uh,
just become a.
Yeah, he has.
a
And
mayor.
Rhino is running for Michigan.
Yeah, Rhino's doing
Something.
Michigan, so yeah, we'll have to do a future.
Just imagine him goring everybody.
Gore!
Just,
Apparently, he's left WWE now.
I thought he leaves in July. I thought he's letting his contract
Oh,
lapse
right,
until July.
he hasn't renewed his. He's
He's
apparently
not
they've
renewed.
offered him
They
double.
they offered him double the money,
Yeah.
and he's turned it down.
Turn it down because he wants to do some indies. Anyway, good chat,
Anyway.
lads. That's your fault, by the way.
yeah.
Adios, amigos.